Hello everyone, welcome to this Mortal Empires playthrough. We're going to be playing through with Clan Scryer, led by Ikit Claw. Very fun little Skaven techno dude. He has a lot of fun with their guns and doom wheels and other stuff in his Forbidden Workshop. He's just one of my favorite lords overall. In my opinion, he amplifies the things I like the most about the Skaven. So we're going to try and beat the game with him. We're going to go just for a short campaign victory. I find long campaign victories, after you've passed the short milestone, it's pretty much just downhill the rest of the way from there. And it's just not as much fun after you get to that point, because you're just plowing through shit over and over again, and there's no real chance of you losing. Short's pretty nice though. Generally, when you get to short victory, you're about done. I don't know, I reserve the right to change my mind later, but I probably won't. Oh, no change in the settings while he's talking, I guess. Guess I turned his voice off at some point. But it's cool. Ikit starts in a pretty nasty situation. He's got Empire, sort of Empire, fake Empire I like to call them, on either side of his starting position. He starts with a one-city province, which is actually a really strong city. It makes for a great home base, but he's just kind of slow to start, I feel, because he has so much pressure on him in every direction with people who generally dislike the Skaven. But hey, that's why he is listed as a hard start and not an easy one. They start us off with a Warlock Engineer. Engineers are always nice. Even though Ikit is basically an engineer himself, he doesn't get the same type of buffs that this one the engineer heroes do. He starts off with some terribly chafy front line, as you should expect. But he also starts off with some warp luster sails, great sniper units, crazy range at 275, 35 missile damage. They just tear through things. I believe, yeah, armor piercing, and shield breaker. So once they start hitting you, they just strip away your shields, make it even easier to hit you. He also starts with rattling gunners, slightly shorter range, but even more devastating. And they also slow enemies who are approaching, which is very nice, as it just gets more hits in from them. They just straight shred infantry at, somewhat dangerous close range. And then a unit of Doom Flayers, which is basically a chariot unit for the Skaven. Skaven don't really have any mounted, but they do have Doom Wheels and Doom Flayers, which work kind of like chariots and low-digit cavalry. You'll get to see as we go.
Chief Warlock, Ikit Claw.
So I start off at war with Astalia here. Arguably, the sensible thing to do would be just to wipe them out before Taleo can declare war on me, which they will do. Hopefully Sartosa goes to war with them first. Sartosa and I think we get along okay, right? No, not terribly. They don't like me. But that's fine. They don't like the Empire even more. So ideally, they'll keep them busy and soften them up for me to jump on them after I finish dealing with the immediate threat over here. Probably won't take all of Astalia, but definitely going to take Tabaro and probably Magrita, just to get some money rolling. All right, let's go, right? First things first. Are we at war with these guys? I don't think we are. No, we're not. First things first, let's take the Tabaro. They don't have any ranged units I'm not going to bother taking any of the menace below.
Set suit to war fight mode.
And we'll talk about this stuff here after we're done this battle. Let's get this over with. Opening battle for the game. Definitely gamble to get a little more Winds of Magic. Generally, if I'm under 15, I'll gamble. Obviously, the closer to 15, the more I'll worry about it. But really, we're just dealing with Warp Lightning mostly, and a Howling Warp Gale, which is not going to do us any good. So we're just dealing with double Warp Lightnings between our two casters here. So we don't need a lot anyway. The question is, well, with Jezzails, we can make them come to us. So we're just going to set our Jezzails up here on the high ground. I guess their range isn't quite good enough to force that issue. We're going to set up defensively. Great little pocket right here.
Magic's ready.
He doesn't have much of an aura yet. Can we hide Doom Flayers? I don't think they can hide in Forest. No, they cannot. So we're just going to put them up here. And prepare, and let's see what happens. Is the enemy going to come to us? Oh, that's very nice of them. Send our Doom Flayers off to the side real quick. Whatever comes into the center area is basically just going to get obliterated. What's the range on this? 200 meters. Wow, that's good range.
Death devices charged.
It's been a while since I played with Skaven, so I've got to familiarize myself a little bit. For instance, I forgot all about Ikit Claw's Brass Orb, which is very sweet. And we're just going to use it to mess up those guys, probably. Oh, as you can see, Jezzail's firing. Drop the Brass Orb, suck both of them in, and then drop double Warp Lightnings right on top of them.
Warp lightning.
And that's pretty much going to be that leader's unit right there. So as you can see, we have a Doom Rocket here, which basically just obliterates an entire unit. An entire bunch of units. It's crazy powerful. Limited to build, and you have to forego taking upgrades in order to build it, because they both consume the same special resource, fuel. Let's let them bunch up a little bit. Drop the hammer.
Warp lightning. The Skaven slaves. Stab, stab. Yes, yes. Rattling a gun. Warp block yourselves.
Gets a little bit harder for them to shoot here.
Rattling a gun.
Obviously, they're a bit obstructed.
Fight, fight. Die, die. String the
Forgot all about my Doom Flare. We're just going to bring him around to the rear here.
Guide us, Horned One. Rattling your gun.
There we go. They found an angle. They're shooting right into some Skaven slaves, but we really don't care. That's kind of what Skaven slaves are for. Alright. With those spears about to break, we're just going to rear charge them, get them to break entirely. About to envelop the lead unit over here. Can't believe they're actually still there. Yep, there we go. He is broken. We'll just pull the doom wheel back out. Have our ranged guys finish him off. And that's going to be all she wrote. So you can see our basic strategy is going to be with guns, pit with cheap units that we don't mind losing, and then just shoot the fuck out of the entire thing. Later on, we'll have large mass units. They can hold a line really strong while we shoot around it and don't take much damage from it. And they get big clumps around them that we can then utterly destroy with our gunners. Until we get to that point, we're going to try and do a little more flanking maneuvers in a lot of situations, but that was no need to get fancy there. You can see who carried the match there with those kills.
Mass murder now, questions later.
So, rats have a special mechanic called food, and you want to have enough food surplus that you get bonuses, and not so little that you get negatives. You get food from captives and from undercities and a variety of different means. Mostly we're going to get our food from undercities, and you use food to get settlements at higher levels, like so. How much is this going to cost us?
More lab nests here. Take for Scryer. Annihilate. Ikit Claw.
Just gives you a real big, like, boost when you found a new city. And of course, every Skaven upgrade provides money, which is kind of fun. Skaven also have their own corruption. Their corruption actually lowers their own public order, so you can't let it get too out of hand. But provides you with bonuses, such as the ability to summon more units in the background, in battle, when defending your territories and stuff like that. Kind of tricky. There's a lot of tricky balances with Skaven. This is warp fuel. As you can see, you get it from very few different places, and that's what you use in the Forbidden Workshop to build Doom rockets. Let's go take a look at the Forbidden Workshop and see why we don't want to use Doom rockets willy-nilly. So as you can see, building a Doom rocket costs 5 food and 4 fuel, and that's pretty fucking expensive, when we could be putting that same things to use for permanently upgrading various units.
Ikit's rockets are best. No. Equip and murder.
These guys, especially these 3 right here, are going to make up the bulk of my armies, the real meat of them. So upgrading them is very important. I don't want to have to rely on Doom rockets, as you might need to.
The Doom Wheels come.
So that's where I'm going to be focusing my fuel. We're going to hold off now and see what our food supplies are before we really start building more stuff there. Throw some walls up right away. And I don't suppose we can get food from any buildings. Nope, there are very few buildings that actually provide food. Yeah, those two will balance each other out a little bit. And we'll have a normal level of Skaven corruption with +1, so That's fine with me. Definitely want to use the exploitative planning commandment. I can remember what things are. Normally, I like to go with growth for most things, but food, generating food's important, and I try to do it as frequently as possible. This settlement alone will give us all of our unit production. As we expand further outward, we'll worry about we'll worry about other production centers for units, but early on especially, we're not going to worry about it. Get Root Marcher first always. Take advantage of the extra movement range that all Skaven already have. They're very scurrilous, I guess. They scurry around a lot. So the extra 10% goes a long way for them. And then I'm going to ignore magic on my engineer, because that's not why I have him. Being able to toss out warp lightnings every now and then is great, but I have him because he boosts all of the missile units around him. And I'm going leaning heavily into Skaven technology, which means using a lot of their missile units, and that's what he's going to be here for. Ikit Claw can do the majority of our casting. He's a very good caster. Big brain, galaxy brain on that rat. I promise not all of our turns are going to be that long with very little action, but first turn, a lot of things to explain. Set the general tone. Alright, I'm at a -1 food per turn. That's not great. I shouldn't have spent so much food on there. What I need is a Warlock Engineer. But first I need to research some techs. So what do we have for technologies? Nothing I can research yet. But soon.
My technocracy.
Definitely shouldn't have spent so much bumping up that first city. I was more concerned with income than I was with sustainability, and that was a mistake. So we'll see how that works out for us, huh?
By Sigma, no.
Lupio over there, building an army to counter us.
Skavenblight's greatest, best inventor.
I'm going to take him back home. Pick up a few more units, I think.
Tinker.
He can't make anything yet. We'll wait till next turn. Definitely going to be playing a bit of defense until I can get the food situation under control. Oh, I'm back up to +1. Oh, that's nice. Great. Slowly going to build myself back up. I'll take it.
Where are my schematics?
Just going to get a couple shields to help defend the back line here. Got to protect our gunners. And research the only tech I can research. Want to get 3 techs as soon as possible so I can get that Warlock Engineer. I can go get an Undercity going that'll start providing us with regular food.
sorcery. There.
Alright, we have what, 11 spaces here? How many need to be taken up by tech in order to build everything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we can get a warpstone reactor up in here for food. That makes 10. And, I don't know, do we really want the Temple of the Horned Rat? I guess it's a better bonus than these other things. Public order is pretty important too. So yeah, we'll probably take that. In fact, we're gonna take that right now. Gonna be a while before that food goes up into the yellow. But that's where we want to keep it at the minimum, in the yellow. Helps us grow faster. Keeps our public order more up, which is important. Because, like I said, Skaven corruption hurts the Skaven.
This city nest ours.
Bit of redundancy in here, but I need to go through them to pick up a couple of extra things that I really like and I'm going to want to use, so such is life.
More warpstone.
And we're going to sit here for 2 turns and let that stuff build up. And then we'll see what we can do about outfitting some more stuff into our army. A little bit worried that Talia's going to send an army at me if I go over and try and take another city from Mustalia. It's very difficult start position to defend.
I refuse. Warp power.
We're just going to spend another turn waiting, getting some money. Well, looks like the beastmen are gone. It's unfortunate. I would have liked for them to keep messing with these guys over here, but I guess it's not the case. Ooh, that's a really nice little buff. Thank you.
Bigger warp forges.
Alright, what do we add to the party here? A couple warp fire throwers. Much like Iron Drakes with the dwarves, warp fire throwers are just short range, heavy firepower, anti-infantry damage dealers. Even shorter range than rattling guns, but they do even more damage, and they apply warp fire. They're great for getting on the edges and just really toasting up enemy units. So we're going to buy 2 of them real quick. And we got our clan rats for actually holding the sides. Let's get a couple Skaven slave spears on the ends. Warp grinders hit for a lot and are armor piercing, but they, you know what? We're gonna, ooh, whoa, why is that 3 turns? Oh, because I gotta wait for them to finish. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that, I think. We don't want to get too crazy yet.
Stench of others too strong.
Skaven are very good at making money, at least. Paying for their units is not difficult. Ikit Claw, I believe, pays even less for his units than most Skaven. And of course, we're using a lot of cheapo units too.
Storm demon.
Not likely. I'll ignore that.
Up to 2 armies now, huh? They're really getting going. Gonna be a while before we get our growth. But that's okay.
No malice detected.
Bump up missile strength.
More warpstone. Now, now!
Ooh, that's nice. Extra food per turn. Love it.
Ikit Claw!
Do want to give them a little bit more to work with. So yeah, screw it. We're going to have some fun. There we go. That's going to be our full stack. It's going to be interesting.
Exosuit ready.
I honestly don't know if it's going to be any good or not. Start working on Ikit's spells. Nice. Extra food per turn. We got our first right now. The Scheme of Doom. So, Undercities are a special mechanic that only the Skaven get. They basically can build cities underneath other cities and siphon off food or money from them. Over time, for bigger cities, if you can go without being detected, this
I order scurry move.
you can get a lot of money out of a couple of different cities.
Ahoy!
So what I'm going to do is make my way over to the Galleon's Graveyard. It's a place that's never attacked and doesn't generally have a whole lot of heroes hanging out on it that increases detection of undercities. Nice. And it's generally a pretty safe place, and I can go pretty high on the detection rate without actually ever being detected there. And don't have to worry about the place ever getting razed to the ground, which gets rid of any undercities that you might have. So it's time to start talking to people.
You come bearing
I don't think they're going to have much to say to me, though.
No.
Nobody likes the lonely rats.
A storm
Come on,
comes,
Sartosa.
and
Be my
you
friend.
will be flogged.
Yeah, nobody likes me. I'd like to say that comes as a surprise,
Lightning!
but in reality, it does not.
warp scroll. Drink water.
Alright, I have a full stack. By default, my mode is stalking, which is cool. But I think underway gets me a lot further.
Engineer of Scryer.
And hopefully they come out to try and fight me. And they weaken themselves against me, so I can sneak in there and just take their capital. Looks like they already lost Bilbali, so if I can wipe out Magrita, then that's going to be end of them and give me a very safe start. I can focus on Talea. Oh, look at that. A lot of archers. Cost me 3 food to get extra uses of this. Probably worth it just for tying up their archers, to be honest.
This arms race, no contest.
And here we go. This ought to be an exciting battle. Wish I had some artillery, but it's just a little too early for that. Oh my, this is just a mess, isn't it? We'll start deployment, that's fine.
Kill time!
Let's shove everything back there. Alright, they're marching on us. So we can take the high ground. And feel perfectly fine about it. Like so.
Skaven! Yes, yes! Warp fire thrower!
And we're gonna try an old chevron-y tactic here.
Council's command!
Alright, so this guy gonna go right here.
Ready now!
Number 2 gonna go right here. And they actually have some high ground.
Clan rat spears!
I'm gonna put Skaven slaves right up front,
Skaven slaves!
like so. Well, like so, and we're gonna move him over after we start.
Clan rat spears! Warp fire thrower!
He's actually got pretty good vantage right there.
What? What?
We seem to be a little off-center.
Guide us, horned one! Rick-a-rack! Warplock Desires! Ready! Ready! What orders? Clan rat spears!
Then we're gonna put spears on the flanks. And one in the rear, in case they catch up to us.
Guide us, horned one! Clan rat spears!
In fact, we're gonna move them a little bit further back even.
Spears! Enemy things melt! For the Vermintide! And now, ready for the Vermintide! Countess command! Burn them! Yes, yes! Skaven, yes, yes! See how they burn! Or fire thrower! Warp grinder!
I'm feeling very boxed in back here.
What?
Alright, so our basic idea. We've got all types of flaw spears on the flanks, more than we're actually going to need. They don't have that many cavalry units.
Spears! Our tile's yours!
And essentially, what we're going to do is we have these guys go into town as they come in. We're going to swing these guys out to the sides. These two warp fire throwers. I'm going to shift everything over a tiny bit to make this fit better. Spears guarding the rears. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. As enemies approach, the warp fire throwers are going to start torching him. When they try and come into the pocket, the warp fire throwers are going to back up. The Skaven slaves' spears are going to come in and pin them down, and then the warp grinders are going to come in, hit them on the flanks on the side, and just straight start murdering people. Skaven slaves up front are going to just take the brunt of attacks, hold them there hopefully while the warp fire throwers on the sides start torching into their flanks. And the clan rats might not even actually get into this at all. They probably will though. So let's get this started. And first thing we're going to do is move our stuff around like we said we would. He's going to go out to here. And him to here. Alright, first things first. Let's just move everybody a step or two to the right. And then we can reorganize. Okay. Now, him to here to kind of torch into their sides. Then Skaven slaves to here to protect them. Sorry, clan rats. These guys to here, same reason. We'll get him over to the side. He's going to have to bust out of at some point. And then I think that'll be that. I have warp bombs. That's nice. Not going to use them. And 2 menace blows. And the doom rocket. Alright, we definitely have the advantage to start. I imagine they're going to let their reinforcements all get here. Make a formation and then march on us. Pull the wheels back a little bit. want them to stand their ground, but them I want to not. He should stand. He should not. Nobody's going to really gel on them too much anyway. Would be very tempting to just drop a warp rocket right here and completely wipe them out. Might be worth it. You know what? I think it's worth it. And boom. You can see the devastation that caused. Basically took out an entire flank. As soon as the pistoliers get in the range of my Jezzails, I'm going to tie them up with some clan rats. Should probably go ahead and drop this to normal speed. Now, as you can see, these guys are pretty fucked up already, and if they come any closer,
Our tale is yours. Council's command.
then they're just going to die. So we're just going to go ahead and torch them. Nice hearty warp fire barrage right there, and that'll be that.
Halt, stop. We obey.
Jezzail's just taking out their general. Rattling gunners should be getting in on this mess pretty shortly. Yep, there they go.
Should we run, flee? War fire thrower.
Warp fire's getting ready, and fire. Whole lot of torching going on to these enemy lines here, just as we expected. Actually, even better than expected.
Now, ready, now. Spears. Attack charge. Slice that. As you wish. Yes, master. Scurry. Power recharge. Scurry, yes, yes. Look, see, they run.
Alright, let's set the Jezzails at a different type of target.
For the Vermintide. Die, die, die! Warp stone magic. Sizzle, die!
Start dropping some magic on people. Oh, that's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Casting death, hey! Warp fire thrower! To the Vermintide! Warp fire thrower! What? Stab, stab! What? All die! Warp fire thrower! Ready! Yes! Very good, master! Spears! Warp grinder! Counterattack! Die! Ready! March, scurry, yes! Screen, Ricardo, crack!
Thin them out, get them onto some planks.
Attack! What orders? Yes, Master Lord. Kill.
And this is basically all she wrote. guy got out of this really cheap.
Fire thrower.
Really, really cheap.
Fight bite. I'll tail yours. At once. Warplock desires. Guide us, horned one. Nash to the key. Yes, superior one. Fire thrower.
Alrighty. We're just going to leave it on fast forward and let them keep killing some shit. Anyone else firing? No? We're all done? Oh, crap. Our Zazales ran out of ammo. I don't know how close that victory was. That seemed pretty smashing to me. All we lost was some of our chaffy front lines. A lot of clan rats, actually, but whatever. They're expendable, too. Zazales and Warp Fire Throwers really racked up a lot of kills. I prefer a more open map, but, I don't know, it's nice to do a warpy chevron-y thing underground every now and then. I certainly enjoyed that.
Eat and prepare the end.
Alright, we're going to make some food, as we do.
Good for weapons testing. Enemies in sight. Mass destruction.
Finish them off real quick. Nice and easy.
Flesh, the best medicine.
Normally we would take food, but I actually kind of need
Scamper
the...
scurry.
Oh, they're pretty beat up.
Die.
I push this. If they come after me, I think I will win.
Murder, death.
Otherwise, I think the siege is not a bad idea. Unfortunately, their gunners are not really great
The Empire.
for siege battles. So hopefully they try and come out after me, and I can kill them that way.
Kill targets now.
But I guess we'll see.
This rat is no fool.
Throw out 2 levels. Very nice.
Magic missile. Ahoy, hoy.
Made a lot of money off of that.
Strength of others too strong.
And our food surplus is looking pretty good.
Cower before Chief Warlock Ikit Claw. No fair.
Look at them begging for peace. It'd be cute if I didn't hate them so much.
Where? Unseen.
I think you have to be a lord to pick up these things. Yeah, heroes will not be able to do it. Base leadership, speed up, recruit rank for units I'm not using. Let's go with speed for infantry, since most of what we have is infantry. Seems like a pretty worthwhile expenditure.
Set suit to war. Fight mode.
Gotta say, I'm a little bit surprised by quite how well this opening couple turns is going. I expected it to go a lot worse.
Make haste.
Get in there.
Disarms. Murder. Death. Kill. Which kill device to use?
Alright, and here we go.
Bring it down.
That, of course, cost him his life. What does the laboratory give us? Extra research rate, a little bit of discoverability. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, we need to keep this from hitting 100. The quickest way, we don't need to see what's going on here. So we are going to take this, go with deeper tunnels, which will give us a total of negative 20 in discoverability. We want 80 to be as big as it gets. Then we want food production next. This bring us back up to 20 discoverability, and will get us 3 food a turn, which is way better than this, which gives us less food but a little bit of money and a chunk of the income from Galleon's graveyard. But instead of taking it like that, we're going to take income from this right here, which takes a lot more. So, with these 3 buildings accounted for, we are currently at plus 20, which gives us a lot of room to play with. And if we do the money building here, that would take us to plus 40, plus 60. That would take us to 100. So we get to plus 60, which is pretty darn good. That's going to be worth more than 40 a turn, I think. In the long run. In the short run, maybe not. Sorry, just thinking things through here. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. The extra 3 food per turn is going to be great. The extra research rate worldwide is going to be great. And it's going to... Oh, it costs us food to run this, doesn't it? We're going to lose 2 food per turn regardless. Or... 10% of the income. And 3 food and 100 gold. Yep, that's the way to go. That's going to work out very nicely. Again, it's more about the food than it is about the money. This should never get discovered. It's actually not even going to be terribly high on discoverability, right? 80, 100, 120, minus 4. It's going to be at 80. That's pretty high. But Galleon's Graveyard being a capital and in and of itself building, they're not going to build undercity detection. I just know that. And I wonder if they want to be our friends.
The decks of the river have not tasted
Would you like to make a non-aggression pact? Oh, thank you, Noctilus. Perhaps a trade agreement. Now. We'll get you later.
This arms race, no contest.
Oh, we forgot to do the Forbidden Workshop again. Sorry about that. I'm a bit absent-minded at times.
Set suit to war, fight low.
I am getting a tiny bit anxious that Talea is going to do something. But it looks like they're preparing for war with Sartosa. So I think we'll be okay. Got that good food going now. Now we're out of doom rockets, so first thing I need to do is build one of those. And then with the other three, we're going to start pumping up our Jazales. Extra 70 meters and 15% armor piercing missile damage. That's pretty darn good. We're never going to need to look at the Galleon's graveyard again.
On death targets.
But we will see its effects.
All things die.
We're just going to auto this. Not a big fan of trying to siege with this type of thing. Normally I would actually just wear them down to the end, but this is close enough to be honest.
Real things, all things. Chief Warlock, Ikit Claw.
And that is it for Astalia. Gonna have to deal with a little bit of a food problem, but it's only gonna be like one turn. Scorch is a nice little spell. I'm a big fan
No
of that.
malice detected.
I'm an even bigger fan of this. Getting one step closer to ballistics calibration, which is a wonderful plus 60 accuracy, plus 20 reload skill is really nice, especially when dealing with artillery. We're also going to give him his own little Doom Rocket one of these days. It's not quite the same as our Warp Storm Doom Rockets, but they're still nice. They still do a lot of damage. And we don't have to buy them with fuel, so that's a big plus. Alright, we can go up to 85 because of the character there. Ooh, that would be cutting it awfully close. But that's fine. Next time we should get a little boost.
Storm Demon.
Get some public order up in here. Because the minute I leave, things are going to get bad. So I'm just going to camp until that's made up. It's been a very successful opening to the campaign. Probably the most successful I've actually ever personally done with Scryer in Mortal Empires. Even back when I was just playing on easy difficulty, I've never had this good of a start. Usually, Talea ends up getting up in my face real early and making it very difficult to expand over in Margarita. We also had a bit of luck with Galleon's Graveyard taking out Babali, so we could actually wipe them out entirely, even though we still won't have the province until after we go to war with Bretonnia, which hopefully won't be for a while. It's good not to have to worry about Astalia then building up another force and coming after us.
Bigger warp forges! Ikit Claw!
Really racking up the money here. Might be worth it to invest in a second army just to defend Margarita.
The clan needs new, better rulers. Warlock engineer!
Obviously, the next thing we are going to want to do is take on Talea and wipe them out. And maybe take out... oh, that's wonderful. That's great. While his armies are busy dealing with Sartosa, I can get up in his back and take care of business. I'm not going to run too fast.
Clan rats are not content! Knows who his boss is.
Ballistics calibration is done. Now we work towards extra powder next. So I'm hoping that Talea manages to beat Sartosa, but that it cost them basically their entire forces. And if that were to happen...
Tired of these slopes.
We're going to do a little infrastructure before we get over there, actually. And if that were to happen, then I could come in and take all three of those cities in the aftermath and end up having Sartosa to myself, which is very nice. I gotta love those big standalone cities. Like, Sartosa's a lot like Skavenblight in that regard.
Where are my schematics? More warpstone! Now!
Next turn we'll be able to upgrade this building and start working on some new stuff. Round out our army a little bit better. I wonder what this guy's up to, really.
Engineer!
Can I kill him? That's worth a shot. Oh, I failed. Darn. Get these buildings into motion. Worldwide public order boost are always good. Order is, of course, still a problem.
Must spread our own corruption.
This got a lot better real fast. A little bit shocked. Extra magic for the whole world. That's always fun.
Yes, yes.
Let's try and kill him again. No. I mean, we're getting experience for these attempts, so we might as well keep trying.
Science, sorcery, death.
And I'm going to go ahead over there and start raiding. I don't want him to get too pressury with Certosa right out the gate, so I'm going to try and draw some of his attention back on. Let her build up her forces a little bit better, maybe start attacking him. And then I'll pull back for recruitment, and while he feels safe enough to counterattack, I will come and take Miragliano while he's in the throes of battle elsewhere. That's the plan anyway. This is Warhammer, so at any moment somebody else could declare war on me and decide to make my life a living hell.
Clan Scryer! Raid! Plan!
Ooh, that's a good raid too. Making very decent money out of that.
Clan Scryer! Power of Scryer!
You'll get there eventually, Balaquint. Balequint? Getting lots of food from that raiding too. It's good to be raiding whenever you can. There we go. A little public order boost is nice.
One's realm weakens.
Skavenblight one turn away from making some upgrades. Just gonna keep on causing a little bit of trouble up in there. You know, what can he do to the city?
The Empire!
We are gonna send you on a mission, little buddy.
I say move!
We're gonna send him up to Carcassonne and start on Undercity, and let's see if we can't expand our empire a bit. We use the big Undercities from the Warplock Engineers, the ones you have to do rituals for, on big places that we'll never take, and then we do smaller ones that provide much less, but also build themselves over time on more local settlements. Since we're planning on going east before we go west or north, and we'll probably end up in it with the dwarves before we get a chance to move on Bretonia anyway. I'm going to go and found a city in Brion. And we're going to set it up so that it can expand itself. It keeps a low profile, gets us just a little bit, and hopefully really get our Undercity worlds going. And this is how Skaven economy works. It's complicated, it's convoluted, it's possibly a little bit dumb, but we love it.
Wood for the small raid.
Trying to get some catapults. Trying to get a lot of stuff, really. Rat ogres. A little more public order. Poison wing globadiers. I'm not sure I'll actually use them, but, you know, they're there. Look at this economy. Up to 3,000 a turn. We're getting 195 a turn from the Galleon's graveyard. Like I said, that definitely, it's going to start adding up. That 10% is already basically 100 gold. If we had gone with the 30%, we'd be making more now, but we'd be getting less food. And the 3 food per turn is the really important thing from there. That's our big food generating pan.
The Empire. Warp fire. Rocket data.
We'll just keep him on the road.
Where are my schematics? Deforestation needed here. Zap, zap. Blast walls. Let's tails move. Stop us, scurry. Rest now. Yes, this.
Very much looking forward to getting rid of a lot of the infantry from my from Ikit's unit. Really focusing heavy on the gun. Well, I guess it's not gunpowder. It's like warpstone powder or something. But you know, focusing on the technology that he helps create. And we're not gonna go into the war with Talea tonight.
Now, now.
3 more turns till he has to be back home.
Me.
We're going to get our Undercity established. We're going to start recruiting our next tier of army. And then we're going to go on from there. We'll stop it right before we go to war with Talea. Speaking of which... Oh, man, they lost the town already? That's not ideal. I wanted both of their downs. Yeah, and I might need to protect him from the Vampire Coast. That would be weird.
Forgot pesticides.
Protector of the realm. What is your demand?
I'm not really sure what to make of this, to be honest.
Greatest, best inventor. Exosuit ready.
Sardasa's most infamous. Ready to swordfish.
Our army's pretty badly weakened. I could sneak in there if I wanted to.
You're in my objects. Turn around the walls.
flip side, if Sartosa does take it out, I can declare war on her, make better friends with the Galleon's graveyard by doing so. And her forces might have to go south to deal with the Bretonnians pushing up against her there. Your pants and her errantry knight gang. Ooh, almost done here.
Test subjects.
Time to quit raiding
Enemies
and
to
get going home.
You're the air.
Oh no, we can do one more turn.